I'm David, this is Grocery Dad, and I'm hoping I'll get through this recording before my little one wakes up from her nap. So, fingers crossed. If you're anything like me, you might have picked up a few bad food habits over the years, yeah? What with COVID and now the cost of living going up, it's probably time to take stock and perhaps make some changes. Now, when it comes to bad habits, we're talking about things that feel like maybe just a small choice in the moment, but they can end up having a big impact on your health and on your wallet. I've definitely been there myself, and today I want to share some simple swaps to turn those dodgy habits around without making it a big, complicated thing. So let's kick off with 3 bad habits a lot of us are guilty of, and then we'll get into some of my favourite easy habits you can replace them with to help you save money and eat better. All right, let's start with a big one for a lot of people, and that's takeout. My wife and I love a good takeaway, especially after a long day and we've been at work and we just don't feel like cooking. But takeaway costs a small fortune, particularly if it becomes a regular habit. You can pay easily 10 times more for takeout than you would if you cooked that meal at home. So for us, we're looking at, say, $50 for a takeout for 2. It'd be more like $5 per portion per person if we make it ourselves. Huge difference. And when you start doing that month on month on month, that's when it gets out of control. So we had that problem, and nowadays we limit ourselves to 1 every maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks. And to begin with, we kind of called it a treat, but to be honest, now we're doing more cooking for ourselves and we're just sort of more confident in the kitchen. It actually doesn't even feel like anything big or a big special reward or anything like that anymore. So bottom line, less takeout equals tick in the box for your bank balance and a big tick for your health, right? Keeping your sodium, your sugar, your saturated fat down, that is definitely going to be good for you and do your body a favour as well. Next up then, convenience foods. Now, don't get me wrong, having a couple of grab and go things on hand doesn't constitute a bad habit. It's just when you go look in your fridge or your cupboards and you see more of that stuff than fresh ingredients, like we did a little while back, you might have a little bit of a problem on your hands. Some favourites of ours used to be filled pasta, bag salads, massive con, those ready to cook jars of sauces. But we sat down one day, had a really good hard look at our food bills, and decided that the convenience premium we were paying for someone else to prepare those things for us just was not worth the money. You're easily talking 3, 4, 5, 6 times more what you'd spend on the individual ingredients, plus the flavour and the quality is often pretty damn questionable too. Now, there's this little rule of thumb I've heard a lot over the past couple of years to do with kind of ingredients you get in convenience foods. And it's basically, if it's not something you'd have in your pantry, it doesn't need to be in your food. Simple as that. So have a think about that next time you pull one of those packets out of your cupboard. On we go then to snacking, the third bad habit that you might be struggling with. Again, I'm a sucker for crisps or chips, depending on where you live in the world. If I go get a big bag of salt and vinegar crisps right now, I will easily polish it off well before sundown. I also have a massive soft spot for fast food, and if I let it, then that could get out of hand too very, very quickly, which I think is normal for a lot of people, right? After all, these things are designed to appeal to us precisely because we're busy and they're very easy to pick up and to grab. But not only do the calories creep up on you over time, obviously so too does the cost. So this became a big problem for us as well, really sent our food budget higher and higher and higher. Now, I do have a fix you can try for this one coming up later if you like a treat from time to time, but otherwise, in many ways for me, it just came down to self-control. I know a lot of people will go for healthier options like nuts and dried fruit, definitely cheaper, definitely healthier. To me, not all that appealing. So basically, I've just kind of changed the program in my head and said, I don't do all that snacking anymore. So those are 3 of the biggest dodgy food habits that we've kind of kicked into touch over the years. If you've got others, stick them down in the comments. But what are we doing instead that you can also try and replace those bad habits with? Now, before we get stuck in, I must say thank you to you if you've been watching my videos, if you've subscribed, left comments, because a couple of these ideas I'm going to come to now have come directly from viewers. So here's the first game changer that I've talked about before, and that is keeping stocked up on the essentials. Things like pasta, rice, garlic, onions, canned goods, salt and pepper, which by themselves will do amazing things for your cooking. So having these staples on hand means you can always pull together something quick, something cheap to eat. And it also stops you from falling into the convenience trap because you know you've got what you need at home and you can get your hands on it quickly. I'll put my list of pantry essentials in the description so you can check it out. But without doubt, this is one of the simplest ways that you can save money and eat better. Now, this next one is something we do, but it was actually recommended by a viewer on another one of my videos. So thank you. And it's having 3 go-to meals up your sleeve that you can make in like 15 minutes or less. Doesn't have to be fancy. Pasta with fresh tomatoes, a quick stir fry, something with eggs and some veggies thrown in together. The idea is to have something quick that you can stick into a pan or a pot for those busy nights of the week. Find meals that are easy, affordable, and that you actually enjoy eating. Had one viewer suggest get down the secondhand shop, find yourself a cheap cookery book from Jamie Oliver or one of these guys. That will do the job nicely. Or just go online and get some inspiration. But once you've got them, you'll never need to panic about dinner again and not knowing what to make for the evening meal. Now, this next habit is an interesting one. If you don't already own a slow cooker, it might well change your life. Be honest, we don't actually have one yet, but a lot of people swear by them. We have quite limited space in the kitchen and we just try not to get too many gadgets taking up too much space unless we know we're going to use it hard. So if you've got one and you use it regularly, let me know in the comments, or perhaps it doesn't come out of the box all that often, stick that down there as well. Now, pretty simple. You can throw in some ingredients in the morning. You're talking about chilies, stews, curries, and when you get home, you'll have that meal ready. Not only is that going to save you a lot of time, but it's also one of the most cost-effective ways to cook in bulk. So you'll end up with a lot of leftovers that you can put in the fridge or the freezer and have later in the week. So it's just a really, really nice, low effort, high reward habit that can work for busy families. Definitely worth considering if that could be right for you. Okay, on to what are we on to now? Number 4. This is also a viewer recommendation, and this is to get yourself some soup skills. Okay, might not sound too exciting, but homemade soup is cheap, it's nutritious, and it's very, very versatile. You can use up all sorts of leftover veggies, toss them in with some stock and some spices, and have yourself a very nice, hearty meal in very little time. Best part again is that soup freezes beautifully, so you can be making yourself a big batch and save portions for another day. This is one we do from time to time. We could do more for sure. We do live in a fairly warm climate though, and if you're the same, you might just not fancy soup for too many months of the year, but I would say still add it to your repertoire of meals and it's just going to give you extra options. Now, last but not least for today, 5th and final good habit, I mentioned how I'm a sucker for a snack. Savoury, sweet, doesn't matter to me, but I refuse these days to buy shop bought anymore. So, fortunately, led by my wife, we often now have something homemade in the house. Now that's perfect for taking to work or for putting in the children's lunch boxes. Things like cookies, brownies, banana bread. Bit daunting trying to make these things to begin with, certainly was for me at least, but it just makes so much more sense to have a go for yourself. Even if it doesn't turn out perfectly, whatever perfect is to you, over time you will get better, testing different recipes, deciding what it is that you really like. And if you're lucky, like me, and your partner is a more gifted baker, then you just got to make sure you return the favour from time to time. Okay, so those are some of my favourite good habits that you can try to turn around those bad ones that might have crept in over the years. No shame whatsoever. We've all fallen into the takeout, the convenience food, the snacking traps at some point, but they're much easier to fix than I think a lot of people think they are. So thanks again to everyone who's commented on my videos so far. Please keep it up. It means a huge amount to me. Let me know what other good food habits you recommend. Now, if you found this one helpful, give it a like. And if you really liked it, hit subscribe so you'll see more of my videos on eating better and saving money. See you next time. My baby's just woken up.